I just kicked Giddy. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. Wow, this is off to a good start. Sorry, Giddy. Oh my God, she shouldn't have got under my feet. Move it. Oh, all right. Well, we're off to a great start. Hello, Mags. Welcome to...
Hello, as if you've just kicked your cat.
I know, I'm terrible. Somebody call Peter. No, not really. I love Giddy. Hey? Oh, she's such a little bitch. How's things with Mags? Is this our 4th or 5th prediction show?
I don't keep count of things.
I thought you were about to say I don't care. I was like, oh my God.
That too.
Fair.
No, it's. I think it's probably. It was just after WrestleMania, wasn't it? So yeah, probably about the 4th or 5th. But yeah, it's been a great time. I love doing these.
What Takeover in Your House? We've done Money in the Bank. We've done Backlash, and we've done Extreme Rules.
Yeah, so 5th time.
Fifth time.
Been fun.
5th time is the charm, eh?
Mm-hmm. And today, the lucky listeners get double bubble. They get 2 shows covered in one.
I thought that was the easier way to do it, Mags. Just do it all together.
Absolutely makes sense.
Because we'll be here for an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours anyway. So I'm like, well, we could easily talk about 2 shows in one, and we'll probably spend more time on probably SummerSlam just because it's got more well, it doesn't have that many more matches when you actually think about it. There's not that much on the card for SummerSlam, but we'll get there in a minute. And while people are kind of coming in, before we start predictions, we always kind of talk about something else for a little bit. And I guess we should probably talk about the Thunderdome. It's
been very interesting.
Welcome in, Claus. Thank you for stopping in. Yeah, the Thunderdome. We said in our brief little pre-chat, Mags. Well, you said it's got some mixed reactions. I kind of took a step back from Twitter today because I'm a bit sick of it. But I watched most of SmackDown. Did you watch any of SmackDown? I know you don't watch SmackDown all the time.
I have seen what I needed to see.
So you've seen enough to kind of judge it. Queenie's here too. Hello, Queen. It's I think for me, Mags, you might be a little different. It's going to take a little bit of adjusting. I don't think it's bad, and aesthetically, it looks fantastic. Like, it looks great. Like, the lights and the pyro and the crowd itself, like, the way it's positioned, it looks really cool, and I really like the way it looks. So, I like it aesthetically. It's just the sound that I'm trying to get used to, and I think they've got to learn, which is, they've never done it before. They've got to learn to kind of mix their audio, and they've got to, because some things were very quiet, other things weren't, and there was some mixing issues within it from a technical standpoint. Also, chat, we will try to interact with you. You know how these prediction shows work. When we can, Mags will be in the chat as well, and if he sees anything, he'll interact with you guys as well. But welcome everyone in. But Mags, aesthetically pleasing. It's just the sound for me. What do you think about the Thunderdome?
Yeah, I think for me instantly the reaction on Twitter was, oh, this is going to be a terrible idea, or it's going to be horrible. But I've always been kind of like, I want to see how something goes before I instantly judge it, and I didn't dislike it. I thought it was a very unique way of having crowds back without putting the actual crowds at risk of getting ill. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. It was clear that SmackDown was just an extended test from the day before. Yes. But if we're in a kind of a pandemic where it's going to be a long time before we get physical crowds back in, especially if we crowds of the size that WWE normally attract, I think this is a very interesting way to go about getting that kind of interaction without putting the fans at risk. And as someone who's not from the US, I think it's a great way of getting fans involved who couldn't necessarily normally get to a match or get to a show. People can apply from pretty much all over the world, and it's a way of getting that kind of international fan base involved.
Agreed. It's for both of us. We're not in the US, so it's few and far between that we ever get to go to anything WWE related. I mean, pre-COVID, you guys get it twice a year, 2 SmackDowns, 2 Raws, I believe, and the house shows. We don't get Raws and SmackDowns here. We get 3 house shows a year, and that's it. So it's not like both of us don't get a lot of opportunities. So you are right. I didn't even think about it in that respect, but we can literally apply. and be in the crowd virtually, of course, for WWE shows. So that's cool. But Queen said in the chat, and like I said, again, aesthetically, it's very pleasing. It looks like a WWE event, and it certainly, I think it, I've only seen, obviously we've only seen it once, but I think it looks better than a standard WWE event pre-COVID. It looks cooler. Like it has, I love the LED boards in the back, how they turn the crowd, they put their graphics on during entrances and stuff like that instead of the crowd there. I love that. I think it looks cool, and the lasers and that look really cool. So
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's issue is from what I've seen on Twitter and from what you're saying as well, Mags, and just from what some people in the chat are saying, aesthetically is not an issue. We all seem to like the look of it. It's just, I think it's going to take a little bit of, trial and error to get the mixing right with sound and everything like that. But overall, for what we are in at the moment, this pandemic, it's a pretty good, substitute for, we can't have a arena full of people during a pandemic. So this will certainly do. And I think it is it's a way step up from the PC. It's night and day different. I think it doesn't look small, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. And I also saw that it got quite a lot of backlash because the fans watching were told that they weren't allowed to wear AEW merchandise, or they weren't allowed to eat snacks or have like brand labeled drinks. And yeah, whilst I can understand people getting a bit pissed off with that, but you've got to understand this is a massive company, and the legalities of advertising products that they're not affiliated with. I totally understand that from WWE's point of view, and I think a lot of it is fans just wanting to pick at stuff just for the sake of it, when WWE are trying something new to get fans back invested and involved in the product. And I think it's a great idea. I think give it a few weeks to kind of iron out those technical issues, and I think we're on to a winner here.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. From a business standpoint, and from WWE's, the massive company that they are, you can't have brand stuff because they could get sued for that kind of stuff if they're not paying for stuff. And honestly, I know that this is kind of unpopular, but why would WWE allow someone to wear an AEW shirt? It's not their company. They don't want to promote it.
Exactly.
I know that sounds like, because Mags will confirm, I'm a WWE mark, but like, AEW should do the same thing if they were having virtual fans. They shouldn't allow WWE shirts if they don't want to promote them. Why do it? Why give them free promotion when it's not their duty to do that at all? So
yeah, they're businesses at the end of the day. Their whole aim is making money for themselves and not for your rival company. So it absolutely makes sense.
Exactly. Don't want to give them free promotion. Make them pay for that shit. So the Thunderdome is definitely cool. Obviously, we're going to have SummerSlam in it. We'll talk about NXT in a minute, because that's not going to be in the Thunderdome, which I freaking love, by the way, that it's not going to be in the Thunderdome, because I think this COVID time, NXT has felt like everything else. And NXT's best is at its best when it doesn't feel like Raw and SmackDown. And because everything's in a similar setting, NXT's kind of suffered a little bit, in my opinion. I'm sure we'll talk about a lot about NXT, but...
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for me, NXT has felt more like Vince McMahon's had his fingers in that pie than ever before, especially since the COVID era and then the TV deal. I think we've seen a lot more Vince's influence on NXT, and I'd like that to go back to Paul and Shawn Michaels because that's what made NXT so great. The fact that it was so different to the main roster WWE product, and I don't want it to be just a same brand as the other ones with a different coat of paint over the top of it.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with you, and I don't. I think that Vince maybe has gotten a little bit more involved, only because he's been closer to it than ever. When WWE isn't leaving Orlando at the moment. So, I mean, It's not hard for Vince just to be there, and it's his company. So I'm sure, I know this is probably, again, might not be unpopular, but I'm pretty certain Vince McMahon would have some kind of input all over NXT this whole time. It is his company. It's under his umbrella. He's just probably had, like you said, probably more of a hand in it since it went to USA. It's on a bigger platform. There's more eyes on it, so he does want to control it a little bit more. I do agree in that sense. But a lot of people seem... I don't agree with this. I don't know if you do, Mags. You can happily chime in. But a lot of people seem to be saying that NXT is ruined and it's completely not what it used to be. And I don't necessarily agree with that at all. There is instances where it's like, okay, I can definitely see this as a little more quote-unquote main roster-ish than the rest of NXT. But it's still NXT to me. It's still that... I don't know the word. I guess, for lack of a better term, as close to as a hardcore wrestling fan product WWE puts out. Yeah?
Yeah, I get that kind of take. But for me, I think the NXT, out of all the wrestling companies that are still putting on shows, I think NXT have suffered from not having the crowd more than anyone.
Yeah.
It's really jarring watching an NXT show without a crowd because they were essentially the third man in the ring. So I think it's more that than anything, because the crowd's not there. It kind of like sticks out like a sore thumb. I think in ring wise, it's as good as it's ever been. Storyline wise, yeah, I can see, like I said, I can see the kind of Vince McMahonisms coming through. But if WWE can, and like with Raw and SmackDown moving to Amway potentially, if they're kind of like separate again, and Paul and Sean kind of take the reins back, yeah, I can see it going back to how it was. But yeah, I've enjoyed NXT throughout all this time it's been on national TV, so I don't have a massive problem with it, and I certainly don't think it's ruined.
No, I enjoy NXT on the regular. There's not many times that I go away from watching NXT and I'm like, oh man, that was awful. I don't think I've really ever watched NXT and felt truly like, oh my god, that was the biggest waste of time. I hated that. Like I don't necessarily think I've ever felt that with NXT. We will talk about Pat McAfee in a minute, Claus. I have a very, like, I have a lot to say on that, and we'll talk about that when we get to this. We may as well go with into NXT now that we've got a few people here, and NXT Takeover Xxx. Down, bam, bam, bound chicka wow wow. Number 30. It is pretty strange, Mags, that, you know, time goes so fast, doesn't it? We're now in our 30th takeover. You know, it didn't seem like it was going to be a thing all the, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. How long has takeover been? 6 years?
Yeah, about that. I think 2014.
Like so, before we, get started with predictions, let's talk about takeover and the kind of history that when you think about it, 6 years isn't all that long in terms of wrestling. It's quite a short time, but it feels, I mean, it's hard to imagine life without NXT takeovers. It's just how it is now with wrestling. Obviously, standout moments over takeovers. I think Brooklyn 1 will always be a big, milestone going into the first kind of arena show in Barclays with the card that it had. And obviously Sasha Bailey kind of, putting the stamp on that. It started a lot, very kind of special time within NXT takeovers. Toronto was great. We've had Dallas, we've had New Orleans, we've had so many different takeovers and so many big moments. For you personally, Mags, as someone who is a big fan of NXT, as am I, what does takeover personally mean for you?
Well, the first thing that kind of sticks out to my mind is how different these takeovers are to the original ones. They've come so far in that short space of time where they were almost kind of like an afterthought to now being pretty much the best show of a pay-per-view weekend. There's not many times where you say the takeover show has let you down. I think the only one that really stands out was the In Your House one pretty recently, and each takeover seems to kind of top the next one. For me, the moments that they've had on takeover have been absolutely brilliant. The War Games, with Roddy Strong turning on Pete Dunne, then the Adam Cole winning the 6-man ladder match, the feud between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. It's just been hit after hit after hit, and I can't imagine a big pay-per-view weekend now without a takeover. It's almost like it's ingrained, and for a company to be able to do that within such a short space of time, it's phenomenal. And yeah, long may it continue.
Yeah, I love takeovers as I'm excited about this one as I really ever have been. I genuinely feel it's hard sometimes when we watch wrestling as much as we do to actually feel like genuinely excited for something. Like, oh, I can't miss that because I know I'll miss something good. Takeover is that for me. It's the time, I'm again a WWE mark, so I do get excited for pay-per-views, but it doesn't, it's different with NXT. There's a different level of excitement, and it's a different kind of excitement. It's like, I'm going to get really good wrestling. I know that I'm going to get really good wrestling, bar none. With WWE pay-per-views, it's a little different. It's more about, I almost look forward more to the moments than the matches sometimes. There's always exceptions, and there's always exceptions vice versa, but you just know you're going to get good wrestling. There's a lot to talk about with this takeover, though. We're going into this takeover. There's been a little bit of time since NXT Takeover in Your House, so we've had a little bit of time to build to this show. Let's start with Adam Cole and Pat McAfee, because I have a lot to say on this. I'm sure you do as well. Everyone seems to have an opinion on this. Here's mine. I'll start. Before we get to predictions, I'll start with what I think about this, because originally when you hear about this, okay, I'm not an American, obviously. Neither are you, Mag, so I don't really know that much about football, American football. I don't know much. I know Pat McAfee because he's been on kickoff shows on WWE, and I just know that he played football. That was my opinion on Pat McAfee. A lot of people, I understand, don't really... you, for example, Mags, I can remember you saying, he's annoying. I'm not really a big fan of Pat McAfee. I don't dislike Pat. I think he's fine. He seems to obviously love wrestling. You can tell that in the last few weeks, which we'll talk about the build. But here's the thing. NXT is a hardcore wrestling fan's product for the most part. If NXT lacks anything, it's casual viewers. Casual people don't really care for NXT because it's the wrestling show. Why would you want to watch that? So I think, to everyone's point, whether Vince McMahon is behind this or this is Vince McMahon's, it doesn't matter. NXT is on national television on cable, USA Network, and it now is lacking in viewership as opposed to its competition, AEW. For the most part, AEW does get a few hundred thousand more viewers than NXT. NXT can't just sit and do the same thing and hope for the same result. They can't. They just can't. Yes, they can, for the most part, be a kind of generalized version and stick to the same thing and stick to their guns, and they'll be fine. But they need to do something to get people to tune over here. AEW had people like Mike Tyson. They had other things come along. What did NXT meant to do? Nothing. They got to bring in something. Pat is obviously someone that's been working at this for a little while, and he's obviously someone that loves wrestling. The way he cuts a promo, the way he acts in segments, you can tell he's a lifelong wrestling fan because he just has the mannerisms of wrestling. I think all wrestling fans that watch a lot of wrestling kind of can sense that within themselves, like, oh, I can, turn wrestling on, if you kind of would go with it. But that's my opinion on it, is that NXT, if anything, they don't know how to draw in casual viewers. Pat McAfee, whether people like him or not, people know who he is. Obviously, Americans know who he is. He's got a bigger social media following than most of the wrestling talent on NXT. So that says for something. So I think that it's just to get in casual viewers. And I've been really liking the build to this. I'm really into this. To be honest, Mags, I don't think there's really anything that I'm more excited for this weekend than this match.
Really?
Yeah, really.
That's high praise.
It's because it's like, it's the land of the unknown. The only other match that I can really compare it to is Dominic and Seth, which we'll talk about in the SummerSlam build. But it's just like there's no, you know what I mean? There's no security blanket here. I don't know what to expect from this, and that's when wrestling's at its best for me, because it could shit the bed and I'll laugh at it, or it will be freaking amazing. It could steal the whole weekend. We really don't know.
Yep, I agree with you. I think I'm in the same kind of boat as you. I knew of Pat McAfee. I knew he was used to be in the NFL, but I didn't really know a lot of him. I just found him as like this kind of annoying person on commentary. But he has got charisma. You can't deny that. He love him or hate him, the guy has got lots and lots of charisma, and he will draw in a big fan base. NFL is obviously huge, and that will draw in the casual eyes. For me, the build up to this match has been quite interesting. I mean, there was a massive kind of furore about whether the interview where he made fun of Adam Cole's hat was a work or a shoot. That really got the fans talking, and then obviously we got the punt to Adam where he kicked him into next week, which to me looked a little bit hawky. It looked like kind of they were going to set this match up. We kind of knew it, and that kind of rubber stamped it. So I was not that into it, especially when you look at the fact that Adam Cole has gone from being the longest reigning NXT champion in history, losing in an amazing match to Keith Lee, and then being dragged into be fodder for the typical kind of WWE wants to put a celebrity over style match. And I was like, I don't want this for Adam Cole. Adam Cole's been the best thing on NXT for such a long time, and I thought it was a bit of a disservice. But then we got this in-ring promo on Wednesday, and my God, that dragged me in hook, line, and sinker. Just Adam Cole going straight up to Pat McAfee's face and quietly saying, "I'm going to make you my bitch." And I was sold. And again, I'm like you, I don't know where this is going. And this is what makes wrestling amazing to me, when you can't just ram off your predictions with any kind of confidence. Pat's an actual athlete. This guy is not just a celebrity with a name. This guy's done actual sports. So it's going to be a good match. Adam Cole can have a great match with pretty much anyone. And the fact that Pat's an athlete means it's more likely than not that we're going to get a decent match. But surely Adam Cole needs to win this. You can't go off the loss to Keith Lee and then go straight into losing to essentially a non-wrestler. I mean, to be fair, Adam Cole is bulletproof. The guy could lose 50 matches in a row and everyone would still absolutely love him. But he's got to win this, surely. Surely he's got to win. But I'm not confident that he's going to win. So, this is the best part about wrestling for me, the fact that I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's what I love the most too, Mags. It's that level of unknown again that I will talk about again with Dominic and that in our SummerSlam chat that we have. Guys, everybody that's in the chat, hello. I'm trying my best to kind of interact with you via text while Mags is talking and Mags is interacting as well. We hope you are having a good morning, day, night, wherever it is wherever you are in the world. We hope you're just enjoying, our time zones are. So we've got SummerSlam chat coming up later. We're in the midst of talking about NXT at the moment. We'll be here for who fucking knows how long. But that's the beauty of Twitch. We can go as long as we want. It doesn't really matter. So it is hard to pick this one, Mags. It really is hard to pick Adam Cole or Pat McAfee because there's so many reasons for either one winning, like we've just stated. But I guess I'll start us off. Every part of me wants to say Pat McAfee's going to win because, you shouldn't. But I just can't. I can't do it. I think Adam Cole's got the W here, and I think we're going to get a relatively good match. I really do think so.
I've got my predictions here in front of me, and I couldn't put a name to this one because I'm still 50-50. And I think one thing that we kind of haven't mentioned that could be a factor in not only this match, but in a couple of the matches on this card, there's an upcoming draft. And Triple H has said on a recent conference call that the NXT are going to be heavily involved in that. There's going to be people coming from NXT and going to NXT. Now, Adam Cole has done everything that there is possible to do in NXT. Him winning more titles and staying around, you can tell that WWE are kind of finding things for him to be involved in rather than him having natural storylines. So that to me says Pat McAfee could kind of see him off and then Adam Cole goes off into the sunset. But I can't see the longest reigning NXT champion losing to a non-wrestler. So I'm gonna go with Adam Cole. Adam Cole, that's my final answer for $1 million.
Okay, so we're both going Adam Cole. That seems to be how we always kind of like. It's like we always seem to pick the same one at the start, and then we just fucking go nuts. Basically, I've noticed that every single kind of prediction video we've done, we've always kind of stood tall at the start.
You're gonna be joking me.
Thank you for the follow, very much. So it's going to be interesting though. I'm really excited for it. Let's talk about Finn Balor. This one was announced two days ago? Was it right after NXT? Was it even just yesterday?
Pretty much straight after NXT.
So Finn Balor in NXT. I don't know. I'm very indifferent on it. I think I like it, but also I think I hate it. Do you get me what I mean? Because it's almost like, you can feel free to disagree, that Finn Balor's become a little bit of an afterthought on NXT when he was being an afterthought on Raw and SmackDown, and now he's becoming an afterthought on NXT, which is the show that he helped build. But he just has been utilized really weird.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And I think he's another person who kind of like Adam Cole is pretty much bulletproof. He could lose every single match and fans would still absolutely adore him. But yeah, it's almost like the booking he's had on NXT has been pushed to the side quite a few times for other storylines. I mean, we got the Velveteen Dream kind of return. He was meant to have a storyline with Finn. That didn't quite pay off. The Adam Cole storyline with Finn didn't quite pay off. It's kind of been like he has been an afterthought, but he's also provided us with dream match after dream match after dream match. And I think that may be his position in NXT. He's kind of like a kingmaker almost, where you beat Finn Balor, you're going on to bigger things. So yeah, I can't really be down on it because it's more Finn Balor on my TV screen, which is absolutely brilliant for me. I'd rather him be in matches and putting on these phenomenal events and losing rather than him being sat at catering on Raw. Yeah,
I understand that. You are right in a lot of ways about Finn. Obviously, would be silly not to mention his opponent. I mean, how do you feel about Tim? Oh, mate, Timothy. He come in, was with Matt Riddle for a hot minute as kind of Pete Dunne's, lack of a better term, replacement partner for Matt Riddle, and then turned on Matt. They had that fight pit, and then again, I think Tim, in a certain sense, has kind of, I don't want to say stalled. Maybe, is that the right word to use? Is he being a bit halted? He's taken a couple of L's, I've noticed, and I don't know. How long has he been in NXT? 4 months? Not even? Would that be about that time? Not really that much longer. Yeah. Is he hitting all the, is he, dotting all the I's for you here? Is he really making that much of an impact?
I think you've got to kind of look back at how historically NXT build their stars. I mean, if we take kind of Karrion Kross out of the equation, because that guy is a massive outlier. Yeah. If you look at the likes of Keith Lee, Cameron Grimes, Damien Priest, they all came in with quite a bit of fanfare. People were really happy to see them. but it took a while for them to kind of flourish on NXT. If you remember, Keith Lee and Damien Priest lost quite a few matches before they really started to be big stars on NXT. And I think we've kind of seen that with Timothy Thatcher. He was always someone who I expected to come into NXT, or in fact, I expect him in NXT UK more than that because of his affiliation with Ring Kampf and with Volta. But to see him on the Black and Gold brand, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, just look at the match he had recently with Oni Lorcan. That was a great match.
Yeah.
So I think Timothy Thatcher is kind of in that mold where we've seen little bits of him, but he's definitely going to be a star of the future. And yeah, it's just maybe not his time to be pushed into like the upper echelons of the card. So yeah, I mean, this match for me is an absolute wet dream. It's really, really is. For anyone who's a wrestling fan from Europe, they know what Timothy Thatcher can do. They absolutely know what Finn Balor can do. It's one of those matches where you don't even need build. It's just two people absolutely beating the living piss out of each other. And I will eat this up all day long.
Yeah, Rowan actually does make a good point that, probably Balor and Walter, they were meant to have something, and then COVID happened, and then that probably did stall Balor in a sense. So you actually are right, Rowan. So yeah, good on you for being right. Nails, welcome in. I hope everyone is enjoying this. But we are getting Finn Balor and Timothy Thatcher at TakeOver again. You said it correctly. They're going to just beat the living hell out of one another, or beat the living piss out of one another, as you said. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of a pick'em here, Mags, because I guess more of me would lead towards Finn, but then it's arguable that Timothy Thatcher needs this way more than Finn. So I'm just gonna go Finn Balor to be safe.
Yeah, and I'll just go the opposite way then. Pretty much the same. I can see either of the guys winning. A Thatcher win could possibly lead to the Volta match. Like I said, he's got the history with Volta. I'm really hoping that he does get involved with Volta's faction of Imperium, because he's just a perfect fit. The guys fit together like peas and carrots. So yeah, I'll go with a Thatcher win, but I would not at all be surprised to see a Balor win, to be fair.
I'm the same. We'll just be different to be different, hey? Why not?
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's talk about the ladder match.
All
right, well, for me there's 4 people in this match, but for some reason there's a 5th. I don't know. For me, this isn't taking place in a school, so therefore Velveteen Dream has no right to be in it. I don't like Velveteen, and I believe everything about that was accused of him happened. Too much of it was real to me, and the fact that they just kind of swept it under the rug as much as they did, that's exactly how I see it. I don't see it in any other way. I just don't like him. I don't like it. He shouldn't be on television, and they should put out some kind of something to say, hey, we've actually investigated this, and then if there's nothing there, then albeit. But I am not here for it at all. So let's talk about Bronson Reed, Damien Priest, Cameron Grimes, and Johnny Gargano. First and foremost, I want to say something about Johnny, is that he is very lucky to still be walking after NXT because he got dropped on his, directly on his head. He got dropped directly on his head.
It was horrific. Yeah, how that guy survives all this punishment is beyond me.
Someone in the universe is watching over him because he is lucky. I seen the angle, when they kept showing it in slow motion, there was an angle where Candace, obviously she was out there watching, and you could see the look on her face like, my husband just broke his neck.
He's dead. Yeah, he's dead.
So I just, it was an ouch moment. He's very, very lucky. This ladder match, regardless of the 5th member who's in this match, is going to be a slapper. There's no doubt about it. The people that are in it can all go. I want to talk to you about Bronson Reed first, because he's been getting...
shock.
Well, I'm not even saying because he's an Adelaide boy, but he is an Adelaide boy, so, But he has been getting the most attention. Well, maybe not the most, but he's been getting a fair lot of attention rightfully so. The man is very talented. But how do you feel about Bronson? Because he's someone, again, like the NXT build, he's had that slow kind of build, and he's come into his own a lot more. He's certainly ready to be in this spot now as he was, as opposed to 6 months ago. He probably wasn't ready. But it's been cool to see him kind of get into that zone. Also, it is kind of nice to see a few fresh faces in this match. I wouldn't have picked these 5, to be completely fair with you. I wouldn't have picked these 5.
Especially when you see who was in the qualifying matches. I would have seen maybe 2 of these 5 making the cut. So it's cool that they've thrown some newer, fresher talent into this match. Bronson Reed, he's an absolute star. His progress since coming into NXT has been absolutely phenomenal. He's really leaned into the thick boy character. You really can you get invested in him. The fact he's able to be in the ring with these huge stars and hold his own. Yeah, what a great guy. He's definitely got a bright future. Is it a bit too soon to put a belt on him now? Possibly.
It's definitely questionable, isn't it?
Yeah. I love the fact that this is a ladder match. I love the fact it's kind of calling back to the original North American title match.
Yeah.
I think Bronson Reed's in this match to take a sick but amazing bump to really kind of like. He's not going to win the match, and I don't think he's going to look bad in losing, because nobody really looks bad in losing a ladder match.
Right.
I think he's going to come out of it with a lot of praise. He's going to do some amazing bumps, but I think it's a little bit too early for Bronson Reed, maybe.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that. I'm not. I don't think Bronson's going to win this. I think everyone's going to get a chance to look good. Damien Priest, we've had conversations about Damien Priest on other takeover prediction show. He's fine. That's how I feel about Damien Priest. I have nothing more to say about Damien. He's not bad. I don't love him.
I think he's amazing. I love
him.
I absolutely love him. And he's another one of the slow build mold that really took the time to build up the character, really add facets to their game. Yeah, I loved him when he was Punishment Martinez in Ring of Honor. I think that coming to NXT has really shown how good he is. For me, he's in with the shout. He's in with the shout of winning this. I think he's primed for a championship. Is it going to be in this match? Maybe. But yeah, we'll discuss the other contenders first, I think.
Well, let's talk about Johnny Gargano. He is NXT through and through. He bleeds black and gold. What can we really say about Johnny that we haven't said before, or that isn't obvious? He's fantastic. I think he's a great heel, by the way. I've really enjoyed his heel run. As much of a pure babyface as he is, him and Candice both have been fun to kind of see them, I guess, flesh out this heel stuff, because both of them are, we'll focus on more Johnny, but both of them are natural baby faces. They have that baby face look. They're both smaller. They both have this sense of, like, I know this doesn't sound very intimidating, but this sense of cuteness about them, that they're very they almost look like, I mean this in a nice way, they look like kids. They look like people you just hang around with. Well,
no wonder Velveteen wanted to be in this match.
Let's go. Let's just hold up on him. We'll talk about him in a minute. But Johnny is really, there's not really much to add when we talk about Johnny, because he's very fucking good, Mags.
Yeah, he's the best underdog in any match. Like you said, he's never the biggest dog in the fight, but he's always got the biggest heart. I've loved him as a babyface. I think he's absolutely amazing at the job. I think naturally he's better as a babyface, but saying that, he's also a bloody good heel. You really always kind of hate him when he turns. But for me, he's been there and done that in NXT. He's kind of like in the Adam Cole mold, where putting the title on him wouldn't really elevate the title. It wouldn't really elevate him as a person, because he's already been to the dance. And again, with the draft coming up, I know he said that he would rather stay in NXT for the rest of his career. But with NXT now being a third brand, I can honestly see him being moved on, because again, it's like the writers of NXT are looking to kind of find ways of involving Johnny that don't seem natural, that storylines that don't seem to kind of fit him, because he's done everything. He's faced all the big competition, and it's kind of like retreading on old ground. So I think him winning, I've got him not winning this match. I think he's going to probably be the star of the match in terms of talent. Definitely.
Let's hope he doesn't take any nasty neck bumps, because we don't need any more of that. I know that you love Cameron Grimes, so let's talk about Cameron, because I really do like Cameron. I don't think I mentioned him as much as you do. You seem to really like Cameron Grimes.
I love Cameron Grimes.
He really, for some reason, it's funny to me. All wrestling fans, I think, do it. Sometimes the one that stands out to, when you have like a multi-person match, sometimes the one you don't necessarily like the most can stand out to you the most. And for some reason, Cameron Grimes is the one standing out to me that's just like, okay, there's something about him that's oddly different than everybody else, but it works for him, and he just has this different aura and this different swagger and this different kind of feel to him. And I really hope that he is protected, in a sense of like, I feel like there could be something really special with him. And I can't quite put my finger on exactly what it is that stands out to me because of it. It's just, I guess, a mixture of all those reasons. But there's just something about him that I'm just like, I don't necessarily love you, but I feel like you have a lot of potential. And I know that's a word we use a lot, is potential. We say it a lot. But it's true. He has a lot of potential, and there's something about him. What is it about Cameron with you that is it that kind of feel for you as well? He's kind of different.
Well, when he first came into NXT as Cameron Grimes, with the waistcoat and the hat, I thought, here we go. This is WWE with a stereotypical like redneck. This is going to go down like a fart in church. But the guy sold me, and I love him for it. It's absolutely brilliant. He hams up that redneck hillbilly style so well. I just think he's brilliant. And what really tipped me over the edge was this kind of feud he's had with Damien Priest. I've really got behind him. I love the fact that he's like a small yapping chihuahua who thinks he's the biggest dog in the world. I love the fact he's sort of like thinks his shit don't stink, and it absolutely doesn't. I love him. I absolutely love him. I think he's amazing. He's another one of those characters where they've really took the time to build, and this guy's an absolute superstar, and he's going straight to the moon.
Oh, he's off to the moon. So there seems to be a lot of Cameron Grimes love in at least this chat, and I've seen it a lot on Twitter in the last month or so. There's just a lot of people that really like Cameron Grimes, so I mean, I'm all for it. I like I said, I don't necessarily love him, but I certainly don't dislike him, and I think he could definitely grow on me, to be completely fair. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it. There is a fifth member of this match. His name is Velveteen Dream. I don't want to talk about him. I don't want to give him any attention. He shouldn't be on television. I'm going to ignore the fact that he's in this match, but he's definitely there. I hear it all along. Yes, he is a very talented person, but I don't give a fuck. There was a wonderfully talented wrestler that did some awful things. There's been many of them. So let's just, pick him. I mean, the only one that I can really see not winning, let's just be clear here. If Velveteen Dream was to win this match, WWE are completely fucking deaf, and they shouldn't be in charge of anything. That's how I see it. This is not a moment of any publicity is good publicity. No, this is not a moment of that, and it's not a moment of like, oh, he's getting a reaction, so therefore he's over. No, this is not that at all, and they shouldn't treat it as such, and if they do, I think there's going to be a fucking riot. And I just don't think that I shouldn't even be in this zone that they might go there, but I don't think it's plausible, and I don't think it shouldn't be a possibility. I think he should be taken out of the match completely. I think he should be taken off of television until they actually investigate this matter, because yes, me and Mags can make jokes about it all we want. This is a very serious thing that he has allegedly done, and I'm not saying that I'm not saying, oh my god, he has done it. No, I just have a right to my opinion. I believe that this is the truth that's come out about him, and WWE are trying to sweep it under the rug, and they should not do that. Point blank.
I agree.
That shouldn't be what's happening. He should not be in this match. He should not be back on television, and that's that. But he is in this match, and I think it shouldn't be a thing that he's in it from the start, but I don't think it should even be in our realm of discussion that he is going to win this. So out of that, I don't count him in this match, at least in my brain. So, I mean, for me, Mags, Johnny is one that I just don't see winning. And then for me, it's out of the three: Damien Priest, Bronson Reed, and Cameron Grimes. And for all life of me, everything is telling me that Cameron Grimes is going to win this match.
I totally agree with everything you said on the Velveteen Dream thing. I don't want him in this match. I don't think he should be in this match. I don't think he should be back on TV. It was very, very tone deaf of WWE to bring him back in. So he's out of it for me. I agree with you with Johnny Gargano. Like I said, I think he's been there, done that. He doesn't necessarily need the run. Bronson Reed, I'm going to rule him out because I think it's a little bit too early. I think he's going to look like an absolute superstar, and maybe he'll be post-match, he'll be in with a shout, but I don't think this is the right match for him. So it's down to Damien Priest and Cameron Grimes for me. I think that Cameron Grimes takes the victory. I think that he's the best person placed to win the title. It's always good to have like a heel as a champion. I think we'll get probably Damien Priest chasing in the fallout, because he's still got to give Cameron his payback for the attacks and for smashing up his car. But yeah, I think the North American title is getting shot straight to the moon. Cameron Grimes.
I just think that it's like, I can see it in my head of like that kind of sneaky kind of win where it's like almost like everyone else is down and Cameron just kind of climbs up there and grabs it and everyone's like, oh, holy shit, Cameron Grimes. That's how I see it. It's classic wrestling, and I'm a sucker for it. So I just think Cameron all the way. I know there is a match, by the way, on the kickoff. It's like a triple threat tag team match or something.
Yeah.
For a number one contendership at the NXT Tag Team Championships. It's not listed on this thing, but I know Breezango are in it.
We've got Legado del Fantasma, which is Whacking Wild and Raul Mendoza. We've got Breezango, and we've got Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch.
Throw them up. We should probably say this sentence in all caps, because a triple threat tag match. So this is on the kickoff. They don't usually have matches on the kickoff with NXT, but here we are. I'm not mad. It's, the NXT Tag Team Championship has taken a little bit of a back seat in the last couple of months. They've been defended kind of few and far between. Imperium are the champions, correct? That's how much they've been defended. Even I had to question myself then. We won't spend too long on this just because it's on the kickoff, but I don't know. It'd be, I guess, again, it's kind of pick'em, is it? I mean, probably not Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch.
No, it's not a pick'em for me. I think that Legado del Fantasma, they still have that kind of air of jobbers around them. Obviously, Raul Mendoza was the perennial jobber for NXT. Breezango recently had a title shot. They won a number one contenders match and they fell short. So I think revisiting that's a bit is not the right thing to do. I've actually got Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. I think they've been putting on amazing performances recently. Lorcan had that outstanding match with Thatcher, and Danny Burch put up a great fight with Karrion Kross recently. So as a thank you to them for really kind of holding the tag division together when it's fell to pieces a little bit. Yeah, I'd definitely have them winning and getting a title shot against Imperium, and that kind of British/European match for the NXT tag team titles. It kind of makes sense, especially if we're going to be getting NXT UK back in the near future. So yeah, I've gone with the Brit Am wrestlers.
You've convinced me. You completely convinced me. I'll go with them too. Fuck it. All right. Well, we'll move on from that. Let's talk about the NXT Women's Championship. Io Shirai defending against Dakota Kai. Okay, so I've tweeted this a couple of days ago. I think Dakota Kai is my favorite wrestler in all of wrestling at the moment, and I don't know why, but I've always liked Dakota a lot. We've had many conversations about Tegan and Dakota and all of that, and Mia and all of these women in NXT, but I genuinely think there's no one I like more than Dakota, and she's hitting all cylinders right now. She's really, I think right now, she's peaking as a heel. She's really set in herself as a heel. And it's not just like typical, to me at least, it's not just that typical heel that's like, I'm going to cheat. And, it's very easy for them to fall into this route. She's kind of got Raquel, and it's easy for them just to be like, she's gonna cheat, she's got her bodyguard, blah blah blah. But for me, there's something's different around it. I don't know what it is. Something just feels different for me. I really do like Dakota, and I think she's just come leaps and bounds since when she originally stepped foot in the Mae Young Classic 3 years ago, whenever it was. I just think that she's a different performer to what she was, and this heel turn is just kind of really, she stepped into her own, and she just looks more confident and more comfortable than she's ever been. So I think that's something to say. Now, obviously, on the other side of things, we have Io Shirai, who I think is the best wrestler in the world. I just truly believe that. I've said it many times. Io is, how else do I really put this? Io is just really fucking good at wrestling. She's really fucking good. She just really is. That's not an argument. Io Shirai is a fantastic wrestler. And she's been a great NXT Women's Champion. I'm enjoying her time at the top. There's probably a load of things to say when it comes to this match. We both know that it'll be a very good match. I think they're going to gel very, very, very well together. I just have that feeling. But there's probably a load of things to say when it comes to, it's probably way too soon to take the championship off of Io Shirai. Because it would kind of do her a little bit of a disservice. But then also, on the other side of things, Mags, would it do a little bit of a disservice for Dakota? Would a loss mean more? Would it hurt more for Dakota here, or would it hurt more for Io? I don't think it's a matter of who wins this. It's who's gonna lose.
Yeah, I get that. I've been firmly in Team Kick since forever. Since Dakota was the shy, nervy babyface who was getting bullied by Shayna,
Yes.
and I think this heel turn has been executed perfectly. And if you compare her heel turn with Io's heel turn, it's like night and day. Dakota's has been a huge success. She's really got extra layers and depth to her character. Adding Raquel Gonzalez as the muscle has been absolutely a brilliant move. Where if you look at Io's heel turn, it's almost like it's been quietly reversed. Is it because she's the best wrestler in the world and it's hard to kind of accept her as a heel? Possibly. Is it because that everybody wanted her to win that NXT title so bad that she just naturally became a face again? That's probably a big factor in it. In terms of this match, I think you're right. I think it's a bit early to have Io lose this match, especially after she took so long to become the top dog in the NXT women's division. But I honestly think that Dakota is a future NXT Women's Champion. Her character has been phenomenal. She's always been an amazingly good wrestler. But yeah, that character has just been that extra little something that she needed to kind of separate herself from the pack. I think she gets a run with the belt. I just don't think it happens quite yet.
Yeah, Connor, thank you for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. Rep, thank you for the follow. trying to catch up. Sorry, I didn't want to just cut Mags off and be a rude piece of shit like I normally am to Mags. But Connor, thank you. I'm doing really well. I hope your stream was really, really good. Hope you are well. How are you, Connor? All of that good stuff. All the love to, if you're not following Connor, go and follow Connor because he's lovely and he's a lovely person and I get along with him. He's great. Anyway, so NXT Women's Championship. Like I said before, Mags, I think we both agree that this match could be really fun. I said this on Reverb this week. I'm scared that it's going to get a little bit overshadowed just with everything else that's happening on this card. And I'm scared it's just going to slip through the cracks a little bit. I really do am frightened for that, but I do have faith that Dakota and Io can pull off something really cool. I just hope it's placed well on the card. I really hope it's placed well because it definitely, out of everything, I'm in fear that it's going to get sandwiched in between something. And I think booking here could be an issue for them in the sense of where it is on the card. I don't like to be overanalyzing that too much, Mags, but you seem to agree with me that it could get overshadowed.
Yeah, for me, I'd put this on first. I'd let these two ladies set the pace.
Yeah.
Because if Adam Cole and Pat McAfee's obviously going to be in the last two. Same with the men's title match.
Yeah.
So I don't think you want this match sandwiched directly in the middle, especially coming off the ladder match and then the Finn Balor and Timothy Thatcher match. I'd put these ladies, let them set the pace, let them be the opener, and say to all the other guys, follow this, and just let the girls really show what they can do.
Yeah, I agree because we know their talent. We know how great they are, and we know we both are fans of. I'm a fan. By the way, disclaimer. I'm a fan of both of these women. They're both badass, and I just think I would not be disappointed with either way it's go. I just think there's more. We're both on the same page here. It would do a disservice to Io to lose the championship, because to me, a win for Dakota is nothing more than a little bit of a shock. A bit of a shock value to kind of surprise people. And I don't want Dakota's first run with the championship to be that. I want Dakota to have the championship and we go all guns kind of firing with Dakota because, like you said, she's a future NXT Women's Champion. And I think she is deserving and has earned a well kind of built run with the championship. I think this is nothing more, and this is no disrespect to Dakota, than a match for Io to be on the show before she goes on to other things. And whether that's Candice, whether that's Tegan, whether that's whoever, there's a very long list of women that she could work with in NXT. And unfortunately, I think Dakota is just kind of ticking off one on the list. As much as it's... I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. I love Dakota Kai a lot, but I think we're both Team Io for this one in the sense of who's winning.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. All right, well, let's talk about the main event before we go into SummerSlam, of course. We have the NXT Championship match, Keith Lee defending against Karrion Kross, along with the wonderful Scarlett. All right. Guess what? WWE, NXT has booked themselves into a little bit of a corner. And I'm talking like a tiny little corner here where there's no room to move. Like, you stuck. There's one way to go with this for me, and I hate it because Keith Lee has had an incredible rise to the championship. But if Kross doesn't walk away with the championship here, it's going to take a kind of a village to get him back to where he was because he's got a lot of momentum. And losing in any form, I mean, like, losing in any way, is going to kill it. In my opinion, at least, for what it's worth.
Yep, I agree. And I don't like the fact that this match is happening so soon in Cross's NXT career. I mean, the two guys are absolutely phenomenal. I think
if it was anyone else, Mags, sorry to cut you off, but I think if it was anyone else, if it wasn't Keith Lee winning the championship in the way that he did with how it happened and ending the longest reigning championship run with Adam Cole, if it was anyone else, it wouldn't bother me in the sense of like, Kross has to win this. Like, Kross would have to win, yes, but like it's gonna hurt someone. Keith losing hurts Keith, I feel, because we've had such a build for him, and then it's like, it'd be cool to see Cross win, but then Keith losing would be like, where does Keith kind of go from here? I don't know. Sorry to cut you off again, Mags, but
no, you said exactly what I was kind of implying, that there's no, whoever loses this match is hurt unless we get a screwy finish, which R. Jennings has said in the chat, which is I think this is the best kind of scenario coming out of this match, that Ciampa comes in and costs Cross the victory, so he does lose but doesn't look weak in it, because it was through outside interference. If that doesn't come off, it's got to be Cross that wins this. Unfortunately, you can't kill off that character that he's built not only in NXT but in the Indies before that. He's had this. He's really done well to cultivate this killer character. That I think coming in and losing in a couple of months to Keith Lee would just stop him dead in his tracks in terms of momentum. And then obviously we've got Keith Lee, who's the most pure babyface in NXT right now. I think if we're going to have a decisive winner, I think Killer Cross is the guy to back. And the only reason I say that is because we've got this upcoming draft, and I mentioned it before, that's going to play a factor in a couple of the results for me. I think that Keith's star power is just starting to almost outshine NXT. He obviously got the rub at Survivor Series, and then again at Royal Rumble against two of the biggest stars in the company with Brock and Roman. He's absolutely a Vince McMahon style guy through and through. He does things that a guy of his size and stature should never be able to do, and I think Vince would absolutely wet his pants over having someone like Keith Lee on Raw or SmackDown. So I think we maybe see Karrion Kross win. We get a new champion, and Keith Lee goes from Keith 2 belts to Keith 0 belts to main roster.
That's I don't dislike that idea. I don't. You're throwing in Cross with the win here, then I'm assuming.
You're gonna be joking me.
So am I. I really am. Thank you so much for the follow. I'm going Cross as well. There's just too much riding on him. So I'm going Cross as well. We kind of agreed for a lot of our stuff here.
Apart from the one that we were different to be different.
Yeah, just to be assholes, really. All right. Well, we've now that concludes. That's not even a fucking word, everybody.
The conclusion.
The conclusion of this portion of the stream is the NXT portion is ending. We're moving into SummerSlam. So if you hate main roster stuff, have a nice
stick around.
Have a nice day. I'm overall though, NXT, just to add to the NXT stuff, I'm excited for TakeOver. We're always excited for takeovers, and this has potential to be really good, as do all takeovers, to be completely fair. I think this one could be a lot of fun. And we're at the 30th, it's a milestone.
Yeah, I mean, when the Adam Cole and Pat McAfee match was set up, I thought, this is going to not be a good way to kind of have an anniversary show. But they built the show really, really well, and then chucking in Balor and Thatcher as just a dessert match. Yeah, it's going to be a banger of a show.
I agree.
But saying that, I think that SummerSlam has the potential to outshine its NXT Takeover competitor for the first time in a long, long time.
I agree. SummerSlam is is it the biggest party of the summer still, or is it the biggest event of this? What are they? You'll never see it coming this year, apparently.
You'll never see it coming, allegedly, even though it's on your screen.
Vince McMahon said at the start that you'll never see it coming. And he looked directly in the camera with those old man eyes. I mean, Vince McMahon is older than you, Mags, and you're old. Like, so he looked...
Go fuck yourself.
So, I mean, oh boy. All right, let's talk about SummerSlam. we got a fair bit to cover with SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
We're inside. We talked about the Thunderdome at the very beginning of this show, but we are going to be inside the Thunderdome in all its aesthetically pleasing glory. Hopefully they get they iron out the issues throughout the show with audio wise, but aesthetically, we're going to love it. It's going to look cool. I expect lots of blue, lots of yellows, lots of pyro, all that kind of good shit. You know, that good shit that WWE aesthetically can put out when they want to. All right. So where should we start here, Mags? Let's start with like the Raw Tag Team Championships because it won't take us very long. Although we'll probably
that's a turd of a match. No, the match isn't a turd. I think
let's talk about the turd of a storyline that Zelina Vega tried to kill a man. Can I just put out that Zelina Vega tried to poison I would say she successfully poisoned the man. I mean,
yeah, she did.
She successfully poisoned Montez Ford to the point where he collapsed twice in the ring. Well, one outside the ring and then one in the ring. Okay, so when I don't know why, I'm a watcher of Raw, as everybody knows. Mags, you catch clips and you stay up to date. You know what's happening. But they had this bit on Raw where I believe maybe Samoa Joe or someone seen this clip that Zelina and Angel Garza didn't want to see, and I thought that meant they were together. I thought there was some kind of clip of them, you know, bumping heads or something like that. So why did I think that? I don't know. Maybe my mind is just in the gutter, but it wasn't. It was Zelina Vega putting the poison into Montez Ford's famous red cup. So that's by the way, for anyone that isn't keeping up with the main roster, that's literally the story. Is that they were going for the Raw Tag Team titles, Andrade and Angel Garza, and then she poisoned Montez, and then Bianca beat up Zelina, and we're still having a Raw Tag. Montez is fine, by the way, everyone. Should just put that out there. Montez has made a full recovery. He's doing well. He's all getting ready for SummerSlam, and he's going to defend his Raw Tag Team Championships along with his partner, Angelo. I was like, what's his name? For some reason, they haven't given me a reason to remember. Yep, the match will be fine. It'll be placed somewhere sandwiched between something. I guess Andrade and Angel Garza will win here. That's how I would see it.
Yeah, I feel
maybe someone else will get poisoned. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, could possibly be. I feel sorry for the Street Profits, to be fair. I mean, they won the NXT Tag Team titles and then quickly shifted up to the main roster. Then they've won the Raw titles, and it's been so forgettable. I mean, they had that absolute horse shit of a competition with the Viking Raiders, that horrific, probably the worst cinematic match so far.
No, don't agree. Do not agree. That thing was pure, just cinematic masterpiece.
There was a monster in the dumpster.
There was a monster in the dumpster. Hello.
And everybody thinks Hanson is cute and Ray Raw is not, which is bullshit. Well, Hanson is cute, but Ray Raw is also cute.
As a gay man, I will say that they are more right than wrong.
So we're learning that you're a bear. So you love bears.
I believe it was Rowan who said, the bachelor woman that's been in this story and she's in love with like Angel Garza or something. Why is she just the drizzling shits at acting? That woman cannot act. It's very fortunate that she looks like she does, because that woman does not have a place in the Oscars anytime soon. It's bad. That woman is I don't even know her name. I don't know who she fucking is. I don't watch American reality television, but she is the drizzling shits of acting. My God. Hope she gets involved. A run-in, maybe? Maybe she'll hit a 450. Maybe she's been training at the PC. She comes in, does a 450, and just fucks shit up, and she ruins the... That's my prediction. That Bachelor girl is going to be the Raw Tag Team Champions at the end of this show.
That would make this storyline absolutely one of the best things in the world, then.
Yeah. That's my prediction, Mags. Top that.
But that's not going to happen at all. in any kind of facet of wrestling. That will never happen. I think we get new champions. I think Angel, Garza, and Andrade, the two guys that WWE have clearly seen as future stars of the company. How long have we been waiting for Andrade to break through that glass ceiling since he really dominated in NXT, and he showed how good he is with his mid-card title runs, and Garza, his rise has been absolutely outstanding. Come through 205 NXT and then onto the main roster. The guy is he's got charisma by the bucket load. He's amazing in the ring, and he's definitely kind of on the cusp of being a big star.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Zelina Vega's boys in this. I think they're going to take the belts, and I think we're going to see the Walmart private party lose.
Oh boy. I agree. I think Andrade and Angel Garza have got this if Bachelor Lady doesn't. Foul, that was the best thing you've ever said. Her Bachelor Lady's finishing move, the swipe right. I love Foul. Shout out to Foul. If anybody, for some reason, isn't following Foul here on Twitch or on his Twitter, it's the same handle, I believe. Or is there an underscore in it? I don't know, Foul. You can plug yourself. But Foul is... Mags will agree with me here. I can happily speak for Mags on this one. Foul is genuinely one of the best people that I have come across on wrestling Twitter, or just Twitter in general, I should say. He's a very good person.
I've got the dubious pleasure in the next couple of weeks of being on 3 different podcasts with Foul.
Oh my God. They'll go for like 8 hours a piece. Good luck.
Exactly. No, but he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing.
What a great human being.
Hashtag moist bread.
Oh my God. All right, let's move on. Everyone's having a field day because I said plug yourself. Ha ha, I get it, because all right, let's talk about the United States Championship. MVP is challenging Apollo Crews.
Why'd you say it like that? Apollo Crews.
I don't know why I said it like that either. We're getting into this part of the stream. Thank you for more bits, Nails. It's much appreciated. Much love to you. Okay, so why isn't Bobby Lashley the one going for the United States Championship here? Can I ask you that? Why is it MVP?
I think this is a case of someone running through a whole faction before Bobby Lashley is like the final boss.
Okay.
That's the kind of assumption I'm making.
Apollo's beaten MVP though. He's beaten.
I know, but we need to stretch storylines out.
Okay. All right. Yep. All right. Cool. You win. MVP doesn't win here, does he? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to brush past this match, but there's not a lot to say to it. They're a great little faction. I like the unit. I like what they've been doing. They did in Raw Underground. I think they're a good pairing, or good. I was going to say good threesome, but let's not go there. I think they're just a good little stable. I think they're good, but there's not really much to say about this match. This doesn't scream anything at me. It's just it's just filler. It'll get us past, but I think that Apollo would win. I'll just say my prediction. Apollo will win.
Yeah, I mean, on these prediction shows, I think I've predicted Apollo losing for the last couple of times. I've really shit on Apollo. I feel really bad.
So you better say losing, because otherwise MVP will win.
Yeah, and MVP, to be fair, has been a revelation since he came back at the Rumble. He's actually made me give a shit about Bobby Lashley, which is something that nobody else could have really done, I don't think. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to have to go with Apollo Crews. I think the storyline here is that Apollo has to face pretty much everyone in the faction until Bobby Lashley just says enough's enough. Give me that title belt back, you little bitch. But yeah, I think that's what we're getting. It's just a filler match. It's be a good match. Apollo Crews is very talented. He's just incredibly boring. And MVP obviously can hang with the best of them. So yeah, I've got Apollo Crews winning.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I'm not expecting a 5-star classic, but I certainly don't think it'll be bad. It'll be fine. All right, let's talk about. We'll spend a bit of time on this. Dominic Mysterio taking on Seth Rollins in a street fight. very different tone, I guess, from us two, as opposed to what we're going into at the horror show at Extreme Rules, the eye for an eye match. By the way, Mags,
Christ.
I didn't hate that. Okay, the finish was what it was, and it was, wacky. But the match itself was good.
It was always going to be good. Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins are two of the best on Raw. They're always going to have a good match. It's just they booked themselves into such a corner with losing an eyeball that a painted ping pong ball was never going to cut it.
Yeah. It was interesting. But let's talk about this. The build to this match has been brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Mm-hmm. I have loved every second of this. I'm so into it, and I'm so ready for it. I genuinely think, on the same length of Pat McAfee and Adam Cole, that it's so unknown to me, but it's a little bit more concrete because we know Dominic's been training and we've seen glimpses of what he can really do. And Seth Rollins, as much as people want to rag on him, is one of the best. There's a reason Seth Rollins is in there with Dominic, is because they can rely on Seth to get Dominic to where he needs to be. A street fight, by the way, too. I mean, you can't really go wrong. Throw some kendo sticks in there, throw some chairs, some trash cans, some tables. I'm all in on this one. I really do think it could be a weekend stealing match. I genuinely think so. I think it could
high praise.
I think it could make or break this show. I really am all in on this one. I know it can sometimes set myself up for disaster, but I don't care. I'm so into this. I think the build again has been so good. The kendo stick shots to Dominic a few weeks ago on Raw were brutal. Like, they looked painful. Like, welcome in, kid. Here's your future for the next 20 years, basically. And the dynamic between Dominic and Ray is obviously great because of their real life father and son. And Seth Rollins is a great heel. He's in it with this character. Murphy's played a good part. Just everything to me. There's nothing I can complain about with this setup and this build and everything. I'm just all in. I'm glad it's a street fight. Mags, I'll let you kind of tangent on into this one. I'll just say my piece now. I think Dominic's going to win with Ray's help. But I'll let you kind of say what you want about the build, and then you can kind of say who you think's going to win. But I've got Dominic Mysterio penciled in for the W.
But Ray's blind.
He's only blind in one eye. If you go like this, you can still fucking see. And he's wearing a mask anyway, so, let's get out of here with that bullshit.
Do you know, I'm in two minds in this match. On one hand, you've got this build to Seth getting his comeuppance. Obviously, he popped out the ping pong ball. I mean, the eye of Rey Mysterio.
But it
like
wasn't
you mentioned,
detached, so he could still recover from it.
You had Dominic obviously paying his dues with those kendo sticks, where he ended up pretty much looking like a zebra. It was so brutal. So props to Dominic for taking them. I don't think I would have been happy to do it. So to be fair, he does deserve the win to rescue pride for the family, for the Mysterio family. And then if you look into further down the line, WWE are looking to repackage him as Prince Mysterio, with Rey obviously meaning king in Spanish. So there's
Nails even said gear. I've seen.
Yeah, apparently he's got a mask already. So he's primed for success. He's primed to be a big star. And it almost kind of telegraphs a Dominic win. But then on the other hand, Seth has been outstanding, absolutely outstanding as the Monday Night Messiah. For all the shit he got from the Hell in a Cell match, for all the crap he gets for being a dickhead on Twitter, basically his Twitter game challenges Brandy Rhodes sometimes. It's that bad. In ring is absolutely phenomenal. As a character, he's been brilliant. His little gang, the way he's kind of been able to brainwash him. Seth is obviously the better wrestler out of the two. Yeah. So if it comes down to pure wrestling, it's hard to look past Seth winning this. But what's kind of turning me, and I'm going to go on to a kind of a Mag's conspiracy theory, like I did with Drew and Bobby Lashley many moons ago.
Here we go, guys. Here we go. Strap yourselves in, because he's tried to sway me on every fucking prediction show, and I believed him every time. He's been wrong every damn time. So now, sway me again.
Now, listen along. There's somebody who's been very, very strongly hinting at a heel turn. Someone who's been very involved in this feud on the side of the Mysterio. Someone who's kind of come to their aid quite a few times. He's had his own issues with Seth Rollins and his cronies. If you check Aleister Black's Instagram, he has been putting out some very heelish comments. And I could very well see him being brainwashed by Seth Rollins, joining his little Monday Night Messiah cult and helping Seth pick up this victory. So for that reason, I'm going for Seth Rollins to beat Dominic Mysterio.
Ooh, we're different here. I'm like in the camp of like all in on Dominic. Like I just think let's just go for it. Fuck it. That's what I'm in the zone of here. Fuck it.
I can see that totally happening. But if you've got a show called Payback coming up literally a week later, and then Seth Rollins is already getting his payback on this match by getting a whooping by Dominic Mysterio, it kind of just leads to a Ray and Dominic versus Aleister Black and Seth Rollins match at Payback next week, which you'll hear our predictions for that next weekend.
Yeah, we'll be here probably maybe the same time. Might be a day. We don't really fucking know yet. You'll see on my thing. Yeah, just again, this is my blanket statement with this match. Dominic, because fuck it. Just do it. Let's just go for it. I'm here for it. It's something fresh. It's something different. Let's not just go with the norm. I don't know. Again, I've really enjoyed this time. I've enjoyed the build. I think it's been built sensationally. It's put me in the zone of like, this could really be a weekend stealing match, and I genuinely believe it. Again, it's the unknown. Yeah. It's the unknown. We don't know what to expect, and it's a street fight.
That's what's making me think that this SummerSlam is going to be as good as, maybe even better than the Takeover, because the matches, aside from a couple of them, have all got really good builds, like really interesting stories, and they're kind of also hard to predict.
They are. Speaking of good builds, good stories, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, it's just been changed. Loser leaves WWE, no disqualification match. All right, let's talk everything up to what happened this week. This has essentially been building since December of last year, when you think about all the Otis stuff, and then all of that kind of stuff with the secret, and the text message, and then eventually it was Sonya, and then Sonya's come into her own and just kind of shined in this story. Mandy Rose has also done some really good promo work in the last couple of weeks as well. She stepped up her game, which is good to see. You want everyone to shine in this story, which they are doing. I guess what we'll kind of first and foremost, Mags, let's just first say that we are so incredibly grateful to see both of these women safe after what happened with not that fan. Everybody, that person is not a fan. That person is a psychopath that tried to do whatever he did to Sonya, and obviously Mandy was in the firing line as well, being in the house with Sonya. I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here, Mags, so just kind of let me go. To all those people that were in comment sections when we seen, the Tampa Bay Times put up things and whatever news outlet was putting up things. Oh, they can't have this match now. Oh my God, they're actually friends. Kayfabe is dead. Kayfabe's been dead for the last fucking 15 years, for your information. Kayfabe is not a fucking thing. Also, these people could have literally died, and you're worried about a fake wrestling match. Shut the fuck up. That's what I say to every single person that was on Twitter bitching and moaning about Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville they shouldn't be together because they're in a storyline on a television show. Shut the actual fuck up. Anyway.
Josh, Josh spilling that motherfucking tea.
It's
Absolutely.
true though.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. At the end of the day, these are entertainers, and they shouldn't have had to be subjected to the horrific actions of this idiot. This like he called him a psychopath. This guy was not a fan. He was an absolute full-on weirdo. They should be friends. Of course, they're fucking friends. They work together. They live together. So what? It's an entertainment show. Enjoy it for the entertainment. Like you said, kayfabe is dead. It's been dead and buried a long last time.
It's just so fucking pathetic. That's the thing that you're commenting on, you know what I mean? Like, you're commenting on the fact that they're in a match this weekend, so therefore, why are they in a house together? I'm so glad they're alive. I'm so glad they didn't get kidnapped.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's who gives a fuck? Guess what? It doesn't take anything away from the story that they've told for me. Kudos to both Sonya and Mandy for wanting to still rock up to work, because a lot of people would not want to do that. I think it's a testament to the bravery that's both with Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. Obviously, the focus a little bit more on Sonya, but Mandy was still there and still involved in this. But we've seen that. I didn't share this for a reason. Thow's in the chat, and he'll agree with me because I know he tweeted about it a lot. I didn't share the picture of Sonya Deville in the courtroom for a reason. We all seen it. The fear on her face. It was awful to see. But the empowerment that comes out with her just being able to rock up to work. Also, she slapped the taste out of Dana Brooke's mouth in that segment on SmackDown. I was like, woo, don't get in her way. And then cutting the promo, they up the ante, loser leaves WWE. That changes everything for me, Mags, because I think given the circumstances, maybe Sonya needs to take a little bit of a step back for a little while, take a little bit of, time off to kind of recuperate and everything like that. So I'll just say that I think Mandy Rose is going to win this match for that reason. And I think Sonya goes away for a little bit. I don't think she's going to leave WWE forever. I just say a couple months off just to kind of evaluate what the fuck just happened to her, because that would not be easy at all, what just happened. Regardless, there's no way to me that these two will have anything less than a good match, because they are best friends. They've trained obviously together. They've probably had multiple matches within the PC together or just training and stuff like that. I think Sonya, to me, probably has earned this win a little bit more than Mandy. But just given the circumstances, it certainly doesn't hurt either of them to lose. I just think Mandy's going to get the win here. And I said this on Reverb, taking everything out of this, Mags. Mandy Rose is probably the one with more to prove than Sonya. I don't know why I think that. I just think that there's been a lot of talk about Sonya Deville, about how great Sonya's been in this story. And to be in a story with Otis and still take the spotlight is a big thing to do, because Otis is full of energy. But Sonya Deville has been the one to kind of had the great promos. Everyone's talking about Sonya. Everyone's saying Sonya's the next big thing. I think this is Mandy's. This could be kind of, there's got to be some kind of professional jealousy there that says, hey, no, talk about me. I'm really good. And I think Mandy arguably has more to prove than Sonya in this match. But that's just my take on it. That's given everything, of course, taking away everything else that's happened. But given everything that's happened, I just think that Mandy Rose is going to win here.
Yep, that makes sense. I'm actually glad that this isn't a hair versus hair match anymore.
Me too.
Because, first of all, that massively telegraphed that Mandy, who was the babyface, was going to win, because babyfaces always win hair versus hair matches.
And they're kind of silly, aren't they? When you really, it's just like whatever.
And both these ladies are achingly beautiful, and I think losing the hair, neither of them deserve that. So I'm kind of glad the stakes got raised. Now it's a loser leaves WWE match. I still think that means Mandy wins, because there will be no point into this whole storyline of Mandy and Otis and Sonya getting involved, and we haven't got the payoff from the Mandy versus Otis storyline yet. So there's more there where this seems like a bit more final for Sonya. Like I said, she could probably do with a bit of a break, especially after everything she's gone through recently. And also, I think with the upcoming draft, and I mean, I've mentioned it a few times now, her being a free agent means that she could be picked up by Raw, or it means she could be picked up by even NXT. And imagine someone with the wrestling skills of Sonya Deville in NXT. I think she would fit there a lot better than Mandy would, because she's the better wrestler. It's as simple as that. Mandy's been
and Mandy's the aesthetic star. Aesthetically, you could put Mandy Rose on a poster. It's not going to look bad. And I'm not just saying Mandy's all looks, because Mandy, to me, I know this is kind of, I guess, the kind of, not hot take, but unpopular, I guess. Mandy Rose is actually really good, and people sometimes don't look past the fact that she is
massively improved.
And sometimes people just see the aesthetic of her, and she does look like the quote-unquote Vince McMahon mold. I understand. She's a very beautiful woman, but she is actually really quite good. And I know if I was Mandy Rose, if you were Mandy Rose right now, Mags, and you were looking at your friend Sonya Deville get all this praise, there would be a part of you that goes, I want that. Talk about me. It's human nature.
So, as for a result, I'm going to go with Mandy Rose. I think there's still more legs in her and Otis rather than in carrying on this feud. Like I said, it seems like a final end. Sonya's picked up victory after victory after victory over Mandy. It's about time she got her comeuppance, went away for a while. Whether that means refresh her character, even though I think the daddy character is brilliant. Yeah. I love the fact that she plays that. I think she'd be a brilliant fit in NXT or even on Raw Underground. She'd absolutely demolish on there. But yeah, I've got Mandy Rose winning this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good match. They're going to beat the crap out of each other. That's how I kind of see it. Take out the week's frustration on one another, maybe, because I think they both need it. And I think this is a nice way to end this story. We have had a nice long story, and I haven't had any complaints about it. It's been very good. But I just don't think there's really much more point in dragging this out any longer. It's kind of, the steam is running out on it, and I think this will be a good, decisive end for the babyface to get the win, and let Sonya take a bit of a breather and come back better than ever. That's how I see it kind of playing out. All right, let's move on here to Braun Strowman defending the Universal Championship against the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. You know how I am with Braun Strowman. I just don't like him very much. I find him very boring.
I feel so bad for him, because if Braun would have won the title a few years ago when he should have won it, he would have been so much of a better character. He's just been a massive victim of bad booking, and he's just not legitimate enough as a champion for me. I do like the way that Bray has kind of dragged him down this dark path. I think the swamp fight was the end, at least, was horrific. But
I fucking hated that, Mags. I really fucking hated it. And I'm not one to say I hate something, but I hated it. I really didn't enjoy it.
I can see why. It just didn't make sense. I like the fact that they've involved Alexa Bliss kind of linking really back to Team Little Big, which is really good. And I personally think she's going to have quite an integral part in which way this match goes.
I agree.
Was Braun's turn on a ruse where he threw a 10-foot in the air? Or will she kind of turn on Braun because that actually fed into the mind games of the Fiend? Is she going to screw over her former Team Little Big partner? Is Braun going to do
it adds layers, doesn't it? It adds a lot of layers. It's funny how that works.
This, to be fair, this match needed it. I mean, it's been fun seeing the kind of three faces of Bray storyline, and especially with Braun's history with Bray. That part has been fun, and I think Bray's worked wonders in making this match slightly interesting. But yeah, I think we see the Fiend win. I think we see WWE go back to the drawing board with Bray, with Braun. Sorry, and. Yeah, it's just. I don't really want either of these people to be champion, to be fair, because Braun has been a wet fart with the title, and the Fiend just doesn't seem to be like a character who should be interested in titles. He should be interested in watching the world burn and destroying people. I don't get why you want to back yourself into the same corner that you did with Seth Rollins and the Fiend, and then need someone like a Goldberg to kind of refresh it. I don't get it, but. With what we've got, I've got to go with the Fiend winning this.
Yeah, I fucking hate saying this, but I think Braun Strowman's gonna friggin' win.
Oh,
because I think this whole stuff with Alexa and the Fiend, I think it's actually a ploy by by Braun. And it's to play mind games on the Fiend and to beat the Fiend at his own, what he's best at, and that's mind games. And I think Alexa's going to be the...
It would be an interesting way to go with this feud.
But that just, to me, I just don't want it to go on any longer, Mags. I really just want it to end.
I get that. I'm 100% in that camp. But for me, if Bray wins, if Braun wins, who's next? It's going to be Goldberg again.
Who's next?
He's mentioned he's got 2 years on his deal. He's got 2 years on that guy's deal. I think that we're going to see Goldberg as champion again. I'll tell you that for free. He's going to be champion again, and we're going to see Roman beating Goldberg for the title.
We never got that match, did we? We really never got that match.
Nope. But yeah, this is potentially a decent match in terms of storyline, but a turd in the punch bowl in terms of just get it over with.
Just where can we go? But yeah, I regrettably say Braun Strowman, thanks to Alexa Bliss. I just have to mention too, the out of nowhere Jeff Hardy Intercontinental Championship win on SmackDown.
Yes.
Not very mad because you can't be mad at Jeff Hardy winning because it's Jeff Hardy. We've all said what we've said many times about Jeff. It's Jeff Hardy. If he was the Universal Champion, I'd be happy. But also, if he wasn't, I wouldn't really mind. Like, it's just weird. He's just in his own little zone with Jeff. But, beats AJ Styles in the Thunderdome for the IC title. 5-time IC Intercontinental Champ now. I just wanted to throw that in there. I thought it was a cool little thing just to say and mention, but I'm not mad.
That's definitely a rematch on Payback, I would say.
Yeah, if it's not thrusted into this show, because it easily could be.
It's possible. If that is the case, I'd say AJ wins.
There's only 8 matches on this show. So it easily could be plopped in, or even the kickoff. I don't know. Who knows what they'll do.
Mm-hmm.
It is a 2-hour kickoff. Just have to remind you. So I'm sure there'll be matches between now and SummerSlam. So all right, let's talk about 2 matches in one here because they kind of go together. We got 2 belts Banks. We have Bayley Doe straps. They're both defending against the same person in one Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, after winning the Battle Royal a few weeks ago. Asuka surprisingly won that Battle Royal. Don't think anyone really picked Asuka to win. She now has the opportunity, Asuka, that is, to not only take one belt, but take both from Sasha and Bayley. And we know, thanks to Naomi, that Bayley will be defending first. So that plays in to exactly what I think is going to happen. So, over the last... how long have Sasha and Bayley been on top? Since, let's just say post-Mania, okay? They've been tag champs. They've been the talk of WWE. They've been arguably the best part about the main roster product. Arguably. They've been firing on all cylinders. Whether you like them, whether you hate them, you can't really disagree that they've been very good. And they've been at the top of their game. They're probably at the best they've been character-wise ever, I would say. Together, they're just kind of unstoppable at the moment. Anything they touch is turning to literal gold. They have all of it. So they've been having some tension. And I guess WWE have been putting some more focus on this tension. And sometimes WWE are very good at swerving us into thinking and believing that there's tension between these two, so therefore it's going to blow up at SummerSlam. Here's what I think is going to happen. Both of these matches, by the way, have the ability to slap. Because it's Asuka and it's Bayley, it's Asuka and it's Sasha. We've seen what they've all done previously. I don't think it's really about the wrestling for this two as much as it is the story of the championships here. I think that Sasha is going to help Bayley retain in the first match. And I don't think Bayley's going to do the same for Sasha in the second. And I think it's going to cause the kind of final blow point for them to blow up at Payback in their tag team championship defense. So I think Asuka is going to lose to Bayley thanks to Sasha, and then beat Sasha thanks to Bayley not helping Sasha. You get what I mean? Asuka's going to walk away with the Raw Women's Championship. Bayley's going to walk away with the SmackDown Women's Championship. It starts the tension now that we technically have fans back in the Thunderdome. We go to Payback and they defend their tag team championships against whoever, and that's where the kind of blow up happens, and we're off to the races for wherever we go next. I just see Asuka walking out with the red strap here.
It makes sense in that. And if you go back a couple of pay-per-views, how WWE and Sasha and Bayley have turned this story around has been nothing short of phenomenal. A few pay-per-views we were itching for the breakup to happen because we felt it'd been dragged out really, really like a slow burn to the point that it was almost ridicule. But these ladies have worked so well to keep this story fresh and entertaining. I like your thoughts behind it. I really do. But I think you've also got to remember that Bayley ran away on SmackDown and left Sasha to the wolves in terms of Asuka. So I love the fact that we're getting those subtle cracks in the armor of the Golden Role models. I believe that Asuka's got to leave with at least one belt. It just doesn't make sense for both these to retain and go into Payback as champion. As much as I've loved this storyline continuing, we need to get some sort of like movement in terms of getting towards Bayley versus Sasha. I think that the one certainty is that Asuka wins against Sasha. I think that makes the more sense.
The only reason I say Bayley retains is because I feel like the only person that should stop that history-making reign that Bayley is currently in is Banks. I feel like it's the only thing that makes perfect sense. And that's no disrespect to any of the other ladies. I just think the only way for Bayley to drop that title is to Sasha. Wherever that may be, whenever that is. But
I think I agree with you. I think I'm going to follow the same lines. My head is saying that Bayley retains, probably with the help of Sasha Banks, who is clearly still drinking Bayley's Kool-Aid, still thinking the sun shines out of her arse.
Yeah. She's always the one taking the bullet, by the way, Sasha. I know Bayley takes a lot of L's, but Bayley always seems to win when it counts. But if you go back to WrestleMania, Mags, Sasha took the bullet for Bayley that ultimately allowed her to retain in that, what was it, a fatal 5-way or a 6-pack challenge or something? So it seems to be every time that I've noticed this, and every time that Bayley's about to lose, Sasha kind of steals it out with the tag titles. And like, it just, I know that a lot of people are more team Sasha than they are Bayley, but I feel like that's the reason why we have Bayley retain, is because it's a little more like left of school to have the one that everyone doesn't like as much. And you get more heat on Bayley as well, because I think the only way to go with Sasha Bayley is Sasha the face and Bayley the heel. Well, I know that sounds weird. 5 years ago, that wouldn't have been the case, but that is the way I see it. I know you're not the biggest fan of Bayley as a heel, and I really am. I know that you're a little bit different than you were previously, because she has come a long way in her heel role.
Grown. She's definitely grown as a heel.
So let's just. We both agree that Asuka is going to walk away with the Raw Women's Championship. I guess we just kind of maybe don't completely agree on exactly how.
Well, the way I see it is, I think that with Bayley now being confirmed as facing Asuka first, I think Sasha plays a part, helps Bayley retain. Then we get to the Sasha and Asuka match. I think Sasha is a bit overconfident because Asuka's just gone through a war with Bayley. But Bayley doesn't help Sasha when she needs it. I think Bayley kind of wants Sasha to lose because she doesn't like the fact that Sasha's on equal footing with her, having 2 belts. She wants to be able to kind of lord it over her subordinate almost. So I think that Bayley affects that match, whether she goes to help Sasha and accidentally helps Asuka instead, or full out goes on to help Asuka. I think we see Asuka walk out as a Raw champion, Bayley retain, and the fractured friendship of the Golden Role models leading to Payback, where they possibly lose those titles, and then we're going to possibly Survivor Series where we get the reversal of the heel face dynamic that these girls have always had, and we get an outstanding match for for Bayley's SmackDown title. I mean, technically, the match doesn't even need the title. This is a blood feud of all blood feuds. So
main event worthy feud. Really
yeah,
is.
exactly. So my heart could definitely see Asuka walking out as double champion. And
would you be mad?
No, absolutely not. I think after all the grief that she took on main roster, like kind of being the almost woman, and then being pegged back with the likes of Charlotte and then Becca, I would love for Asuka to be a Asuka 2 belt. And I don't think the Bayley and Sasha title needs a belt. They could easily both lose, and that causes the fracture.
Yeah.
But I can also see it being for Sasha losing her title, demanding a title match off Bayley because it was Bayley's fault that she lost the title, and she's never been there for Sasha like Sasha's been there for Bayley. And they end up losing those tag titles, so there's only one belt in the middle of them. And we get the Sasha and Bayley match, and Asuka goes on and rules Raw.
We just gave it them on a silver platter. Just eat from our hands here. I don't know. It's weird. It's so weird to think that the one surefire thing out of all of this is that Bayley retains the SmackDown Women's Championship here. There's no part of me that sees Bayley as the one losing.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is why SummerSlam is really intriguing this year, because this match has potentially 4 different ways it could end. It could be Asuka loses twice, Asuka wins twice, or Asuka wins one or the other. And there's just so many different connotations that you can say with certainty this is what you want to happen, but it's not necessarily what is going to happen.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's a good thing though. It's a really good thing that we're getting that, and it's a really good thing that we're in this zone of our heads of kind of spinning of like, what's going to really happen? It makes you want to watch. All right, let's move on to the main event of this show. It is one Drew McIntyre. I tried to do Scottish and I couldn't. That didn't work. Drew McIntyre defending his WWE Championship against the red hot Randy Orton, the skull kicking piece of shit that he is at the moment. Randy Orton. Every time it seems we say this at least once a year, Mags. This is the best Randy Orton we've gotten ever. We're in this zone at the moment again of this is the best Randy Orton we've ever had. Ever all this edge stuff and then him just kicking people in the head. By the way, I will say, Shawn Michaels did not sell that punt very well. Shawn.
He didn't.
His receding hairline is not doing him favors. But, oh my God, it is just... Randy Orton is I know, it's like, how can he get any better than this? Randy Orton is at arguably the best he's ever been. It's so crazy that in 2020 we're saying Randy Orton is at his best, but Randy Orton really is at his best. And not only that, Mags, Drew McIntyre has been a great WWE champion, or is being a great WWE champion since the WrestleMania win. He was a great champion throughout this COVID time as we head into now the Thunderdome era, whatever you want to call it. It's so crazy that we have Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre in the same match, and I see a lot of people wanting Randy Orton to win.
And I can understand why. And you've said it quite succinctly. It's that this is potentially the best Randy Orton we've ever got. And if you go back and listen to our prediction shows, I've got a habit of kind of plotting Drew's downfall.
You do.
And it's not because I'm not a fan of him. I think he's absolutely amazing. I think he's been a superb champion in what's been a very, very difficult time for wrestling. And if anyone deserves a massive crowd pop as champion, it's definitely Drew. The guy has been a phenomenal head of the company. But this Randy Orton, it's wrestling sex on a stick.
It really is.
It's glorious. Legend Killer 2.0 is absolutely glorious. If you think of like Randy over the past 5 or 6 years, he's been probably the most frustrating wrestler in the world, because when he's not invested in a storyline, he absolutely phones it in, and you can tell when he's just basically a paint by numbers wrestler. We know he's phenomenal, and that's the most frustrating thing, that we know how good this guy is. He just gets into a mode where he doesn't care about the storyline, so I'm not putting full effort in. But when he has that story that he's got his teeth sunk into, is possibly the best in the world, and
He
that's
really is.
That's not hyperbole. I think if he is invested in the storyline, I mean, look at the stuff with Edge. It was phenomenal,
So
absolutely phenomenal.
So good.
I think he's one of the very, very best that's ever been in the ring. And for me, he's just outstanding. Taking out Ric Flair, wow, what a move. What a perfect move, especially considering how there was a big backlash about involving Ric Flair in the first place with his health issues. The way they kind of wrote him out this storyline with getting berated by Randy and really put in his place. He gave a heartfelt speech about wanting Randy to break his record and not Cena, kind of like the son that he never had. Mm-hmm. It grabs every single heartstring that you've ever got. And when he got punted, you just knew that this Randy was the evil bastard Randy that everybody loves to hate. Then we got Shawn Michaels kind of doubling down, and I do get your point about how he didn't sell the punt. Now, knowing Shawn Michaels, he's one of the best sellers in the world. In fact, if you remember the SummerSlam match with Hogan, he's one of the best oversellers in the world. So,
it was so good.
Again, I'm going to go down kind of conspiracy theory here.
Here we go.
I think that underselling was intentional. I think that it was purposeful. If you remember in the promo, HBK said this match ends with a claymore or a switch in music. Now, I believe, and again, I'm going to plot Drew's downfall here. I believe HBK gets involved in this match. I believe he super kicks Drew. I believe Randy takes this title. And what kind of nails it for me is that if Drew wins, what is next for Drew? There's no real challengers kind of like coming up. Everyone's either involved in storylines, or they don't seem like they're at the level of a Drew or a Randy. I think that we get a rematch at Payback, and I think then Randy goes into kind of finishing his trilogy match with Edge with the title on the line, which will be absolutely phenomenal for Edge to come back, kill off his nemesis in Randy Orton, and then win a title again. That would just solidify him coming back and as being like the highlight of 2020. And then Drew can get a title victory further down the line when we've got crowds back, when he gets the kind of praise and the crowd roar that he deserves. But yeah, I think Randy wins this match, and I think it will be glorious.
Well, I fucking hate you, Mags, because every time I think I have this clear vision, you come in and I have to just go with it, and I'm like, oh, here we go again, Mags, and then you fucking sway me right into it, and I'm like, oh, shit. Now I can't see it in any other way. I cannot see it in any other way. Fuck's sake.
Play devil's advocate. Say Drew does win. Who's next? Who's next for Drew?
I'm trying to think, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, no, there's so much more for Randy winning this than for Drew. There's really nowhere to go. He's beaten Seth. He's worked with Bobby Lashley. There's not a lot of people like on the up ready for that spot. When on Randy's side of things, there's more to kind of go with. Fuck's sake.
A Randy win at the very least stretches this storyline out.
Exactly.
So Drew has still got still involved in the storyline, and we
Yeah.
always know that a heel is better as champion because the chase is what invests fans. They want to see their guy chasing for the title to win the big one. But if Drew just decimates Randy, this whole kind of heel Legend Killer 2.0 has been for nothing. Drew is like this dominant champion, and there's nobody on the horizon unless we get a comeback of maybe, say, Brock, which is unlikely. Whereas if we get Randy winning, this carries on. Hopefully Edge can get back to full fitness, and that storyline can carry on with Randy there, and then Drew is waiting in the wings to take on whoever comes out as champion. That's the kind of mindset I'm going with. As WWE have proved over the last few pay-per-views, that's probably not going to happen. I've got it wrong near enough every single time. But that's just the way I'm looking at it.
Man, now I fucking hate agreeing with you. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. And if you're wrong this time, I mean, in a week when we do payback predictions, you'll be hearing from me. I'll be giving you a nice stern warning because I've had enough of you swaying me and then me looking like a fucking idiot when it doesn't happen, because that's what I've worked myself into the whole show. And then I'm watching it and I'm like, Max was wrong again. And here I am, gullible me, believing you when I shouldn't have. So
I'm like Seth. I am the Saturday afternoon messiah.
Oh boy, that doesn't have the same ring to it, does it? That's a big yikes, that one, isn't it? It's like, oh no.
Well,
you see, you look at Seth and you're like, okay, you do you. And then you look at, you have you there and you say that and you kind of feel a little sad almost. It's not even angry, it's just sadness. You're like, oh no, you feel sorry
You
for
look at me and a little bit of vomit comes up in your mouth. And then
you said it. All right,
then a whole lot of vomit ends up on the floor.
You're just like, oh boy. That could be taken in many ways. Let's not go there. All right, so let's just... You said it as well. You feel that SummerSlam could be the better show.
Mm-hmm.
I can see why.
It's because of the unpredictability. I mean, I've led you down some rabbit holes with my predictions, but that doesn't mean I fully believe that they're going to happen. I know that WWE have really been good at swerving recently.
Yes.
So whilst technically the matches on TakeOver will probably be better in terms of in-ring, these kind of unpredictable matches on SummerSlam have really got me thinking, yeah, I can't wait to see what's next. So that's why I think SummerSlam is going to be the better show in terms of like jaw-dropping moments, of what's going to happen and what's the payback going to be, hinting to the next show.
See, continuity right there, Mags. It's like you're ready for our next show. We will be back. Of course, I'll be here on Twitch during the week playing games, but probably not next Saturday. It'll probably be next Sunday that we do payback predictions, just because usually I do because it's Monday morning that it airs here for me. It's early Monday morning when payback is on for Mags as well, really early in the morning. So we'll probably do that. But you'll see it on my Twitter exactly when it's actually happening. But thank you everyone for hanging out for these predictions. Thank you, of course, Mags. It's a joy as always. As much as I give you shit, this is genuinely
through gritted teeth. You said that.
I was like, oh, joy, what's the word? What? I'm looking up all these words in the dictionary. Like, which one isn't the one? Not asshole. We want to keep going. But it's like. I genuinely look forward to this every month. It's fun to do this show because it's the most casual thing I do, and I mean it in a good way. And it's just fun to have people here, and every time we do this, we seem to get more people in the chat and stuff like that. So that's a good thing. It's a sign that it's worthwhile. So guys, 1 week's time plus a day, we'll be back here for payback predictions. Myself and Mags. We don't have any other lives than other just watching wrestling, so we're definitely going to be here.
Whoa! I've got UFC as well.
Oh well, I don't watch that fake shit. But yeah, so feel free to this replay will be up on YouTube as well if you want to catch this for any other reason than watching it now. As everything does, it goes on my YouTube. It'll be available here on Twitch to watch. Make sure you follow Mags on Twitter. His Twitter handle's been on the screen this entire time. Follow me here on Twitch or on Twitter. I'll be playing games here all through the week here on Twitch. I don't know exactly what I'm doing this week. I have a lot of work, so we'll just kind of see when I'm live. Who really knows? We'll be watching wrestling. I won't be tweeting about wrestling anymore during the shows because I'm pretty done with wrestling Twitter in some ways. I love the relationships with people, and I love people that I've met through Twitter, and I still generally like Twitter. It's just sometimes gets a little bit draining when all you see when you're trying to enjoy a wrestling show is a lot of negativity. And sometimes it can kind of take you out a little bit. So I'm just taking a little bit of a step back. But feel free to tweet with me for wrestling. I'll still talk to people about it. I'm not running away from Twitter. I ain't that kind of person. But Mags will be there. He doesn't watch Raw and Smackdown because he's sane. But, you know, and it's genuinely quite early in the morning when Raw and Smackdown is on. So Mags is very old. He's a very old man. So, you know, he's got to get his naps and his rest.
Yourself.
You're on my Twitch, bitch. You know what I mean? So it's like, play by my rules. Get your own Twitch, Mags. I don't know how to use that.
I've got a Twitch. I follow you, you douchebag.
Yeah, but it's not like you're playing games on there.
And I've even got a TikTok just specifically to follow.
That is true. I can't hate on Mags because Mags made a TikTok just to like my TikToks. Like, that's the sign of a good friend right there, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, that's a good person. Everyone go follow Mags. I give Mags a lot of shit and he gives it to me right back. But sometimes we are nice to each other, and do go follow Mags because he is a great follow. Everyone here should be following Mags anyway.
And follow at Giddy Robinson 00
Oh,
as well.
she's a little bitch. I didn't even know where she went. She always comes in here when I'm streaming on Twitch, and she always tries to take my spotlight. Then everyone boos when she leaves, and I'm like, is anyone here to watch me do anything? Or you just want to see the damn cat? Because I could just have Giddy Cam, could just do that, just have the cam on Giddy, and just kind of let me play games. I'm bad at them anyway, Mags, you know that.
Oh my days. If you ever get the time, watch Josh play Grand Theft Auto 5 because he is so bad. He failed the first mission like 11 times.
I'm so bad at GTA and I don't know why. I thought I was okay at it, but apparently I'm fucking trash at it. I'm so bad at it, but I love it. It's a lot of fun. Don't ever come to my streams for pro gaming, anyone, because you will not get it. It's casual gaming with good vibes, and you can fucking laugh at me because I really don't give a shit anyway. But that's going to round us out for everybody. Has anybody in the chat got anyone that we can raid? I have like 10 people here. I would like to raid someone, but none of my friends are on. So I don't really know if we should raid anyone or if I should just end it. So if anyone has any names to throw out on someone we can raid here on Twitch, feel free to do it in the next 15 seconds before I say goodbye. Other than that, I'm just going to end the stream. You know what I mean? So, Mags, anything you want to plug while we're ending up here?
No. If you know me, you'll know my content and just go and check it out. Check out Smart to Death Radio. We've got an amazing team over there really doing great things. Visionaries Global Media, absolutely knock it out of the park every single week. And Chairshot Media Group, I'm still blown away at the fact I'm involved with such an amazing group of content creators. So, yeah, go and check out those content. Check out the content that Josh puts out because this guy is phenomenal. I believe he's got an announcement pretty soon for Reverb Radio. So
it's kind of it's something. You'll see it on Reverb Radio in a minute. There's just something cool happening. I don't know if it's going to be tonight or if I might push it until the morning. But well, my morning, everybody. But you'll see. It's nothing. It's cool. You'll see. Reverb Radio 00 on Twitter. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to just do this. I hope everyone has a lovely rest of their day. And I'll see them when I'm looking at them, I guess. See you later, everyone.